This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. What's going on, freaks? Hey, my dogs are wrestling, so you'll probably hear them wrestling in the background there. Well, this is part 2 of the show. And the Blazers won, by the way. They beat the Los Angeles Lakers, the world champions, in Los Angeles. All because of Gary Trent just drilling three-pointer after three-pointer. So, yeah, they're the team we lost to in the playoffs. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I posted the story about the girl that was forced to withdraw from her school because she made a comment when she was 15 on a 3-second video, and there was literally somebody in there that was like, there was one person I didn't understand their comment. It seemed contradictory, but the main one was somebody was actually saying that the girl deserved it because, people who think like that are what's going to be the downfall of our society, okay? My God. Every one of you in this chat right now, at some point or in your life, has said something really stupid and probably offensive to somebody. And, it's just the way it is. We're not freaking robots, everybody. It could have been a great lesson to have learned, but now all it does is just anger people, and it's getting out of control, and it makes it worse. It doesn't help. Oh wow, everybody's so woke. Look how woke that is. Wow, that's so great that they kicked that girl out of the school. Wow, man, I'm so glad they really no, it doesn't do that. It pisses people off. Okay, and I think it pisses most people off. I think the schools are just so ultra PC and sensitive that they're just going to do whatever they think, sort of their inside crowd likes. The hard left. It's insane. It's disgusting, And I think everybody out there should feel the same way. and I actually, this is one of those times where you might have a different opinion, but I absolutely will not understand it nor respect it or anything. I think it's ludicrous for anybody out there to think that she should have been punished at all. Okay, and that's just it. It's man. And I think things were better when people could joke around about stuff a little bit. It's like everything's so serious. Oh wow! Oh my God! You said something. Here's the thing: is minorities say racist things all the time. Okay, but they're never punished for it because I guess apparently it's okay. I don't really understand that. I mean, when I was covering the Kenneka Jenkins case, I was called every single name under the sun, and had I said that, and any of my comment, if I said the same thing to them in reverse, and those comments were sent to anybody, I would have been in trouble for it. Okay? I would have been absolutely in trouble because it's a different standard for some reason. Yeah, it was horrendous. I mean, it was, you guys wouldn't believe it. One of the only people that Patricia M right there, I was about to say she's the only one of the only people in here that actually saw it and was there the whole time. Okay, she absolutely saw it It was unbelievable. And you can go back if you want and go read through some of the comments. I usually have to approve the comments on the video, so I removed a lot of those, but I gave up at one point. You know, who's this cracker? Who's this? Just over and over and over again. Okay, so if that's okay, why is that okay? It shouldn't be, right? Yeah. All right. Anyways, I'm going to get to these cases. Laura Lee said, "Hey, which one? Who's the girl?" Well, yeah. Well, probably not the unidentified hitchhiker. You know, the one with the picture that's hard to make out. Yeah. I'm going to start off with the hitchhiker one. So keep in mind, this is one that Colleen Fitzpatrick sent to me, right? And it's one of the ones that maybe she was thinking we could partially fund or something. So we'll see how that goes. If you guys are interested, I think it's pretty cool. It's not really a crime one, but it might be a good one to finally get our feet wet into that arena and be part of helping solve one of them, right? And then we can move forward into some other ones. It's more similar to solving the Summit County John Doe, I called him Peak 6. So, anyways, we'll do that one right now. You guys still in hello mode? Let me know when you're done with hello mode. Got to get on this one. But yes, everybody, the Blazers won. They beat the Los Angeles Lakers in Los Angeles. Although home court advantage doesn't mean much with this new situation. There's no crowd. You guys done? Okay. All right, here we go. So I went back and found as many references as I could, and which is weird, this unidentified hitchhiker 1961 got a hell of a lot more coverage than, like I say, a black woman who's murdered in her house in front of her kids, right? But anyways, that's what it was. Ridiculous. All right, here we go. Hitchhiker drowns as car hits river. Rescue workers Monday night recovered the body of an unidentified man who drowned when a car crashed into the Cabana River near here. James White, driver of the car, said he picked up a hitchhiker and that the car went out of control and crashed into the river. It almost sounds like it's related to the hitchhiker, but obviously it's not. White of Centerville said he swam ashore. So both of them went in the water, apparently. And then hitchhiker's body unclaimed. The body of a young boy apparently headed west when he was killed in a freak automobile accident lies unidentified in a funeral home here. I didn't know there was so many missing young boys, said Coroner Jack Lee. The boy, believed to be 14 or 15 years old, was killed Monday night. He had hitched a ride with James White near this west central Alabama town. 5 miles down the road, White's car went out of control and crashed into 20 feet of water in the Cahaba River. Let me see where this is. Right, Centreville. And they're saying into the Cahaba River. Is that right? Alright, so let's see. 5 miles down the road, White's car went out of control and crashed into 20 feet of water in the Cahaba River. Ride with James White near the west central Alabama town. Let's see. When he was killed in a freak automobile accident, I didn't know there was so many missing young boys. The boy, believed to be 14 or 15 years old, was killed Monday night. He had hitched a ride with James White near this west central town. So they are saying this town right here. 5 miles down the road, White's car went out of control and crashed into 20 feet of water in the Cahaba River. Okay, so that's this. And so they're saying 5 miles down the road. So is there another point, maybe right there? Is that 5 miles? I'm kind of thinking it's right there. Well, that's 6.14. It's got to be pretty close. But, you know, maybe 7 driving. So I bet you it was right there. That makes sense. Because the rest of it's too close to town. So if you're leaving this town, does it do it again down here? Yeah, so that doesn't make any sense. The only spot after leaving the town where it runs back over that river is right there. So that makes sense to me. Okay. White said the youth told him he was heading to San Diego, or well, I think they left out an E, but it says San Diego, California, from the Carolinas, unless you can tell me that's an actual town there. Huh? What are you talking about, Justin? I don't understand your comment. Does your comment relate to what we're talking about, or? Bell Fountain. Bell Fountain. Bell Fountain. Yeah. Okay, so authorities have only blurred photographs with a fond inscription. So here's what they found. The hitchhiker, he lived. However, the hitchhiker died, and the person who picked up the hitchhiker lived. And then he told people that he was heading to San Diego. Authorities have only a blurred photograph with a fond inscription, a cigarette tax stamp from South Carolina, and some initials apparently cut into the forearm as they seek to identify him. Lee said he had been contacted by families at Montgomery, Tuscaloosa, Green Pond, and Bessemer in Alabama, and Greensville, South Carolina. The boy is from none of those families, Lee said. He did not name the families who contacted him. So it's weird that there was that many missing persons. We are back where we started, Lee said. The boy had 50 cents in his pockets and a package of cigarettes bearing a South Carolina tax stamp. You know, so up north. Here, let me. Wow, where did I end up going? Man, that's insane. Okay, I think I had it right there. Yeah, and South Carolina's way over here, so definitely that makes some sense. You know, South Carolina here, and they're heading to San Diego over here, so they're heading east. On his left arm, let's see, we are back where we started, Lee said. The boy had 50 cents in his pockets and a package of cigarettes bearing a South Carolina tax stamp. On his left arm were scars, which spelled out RK Love with a plus sign between the initials. R plus K, I bet it was R plus K equals love. That's what my opinion is. You know, that makes sense. The scars apparently were self-inflicted. Lee described the boy as about 5 feet 6 and 112 pounds, 112 to 120, with blue eyes, light brown hairs, a 4-inch scar on his right ankle, and a 1/2-inch crescent-shaped scar on his upper right forehead. Body of young hitchhiker recovered is unidentified. So some of this might be repetitive. As a matter of fact, I think this is an absolute duplicate of the last article, but it is the next day in the paper. All right, so this is the following day. County and state officers continued Wednesday morning to seek identification of a hitchhiker killed Monday night when the automobile in which he was riding failed to make a curve. Does that make sense? Yeah, not really a curve there. So might have to try to find something else at some point. Centerville. Interesting. Or maybe it was a different road that they were on. We don't know that they were on that one. Let's see. Maybe we'll get some more information coming up. To seek identification of a hitchhiker killed Monday night when the automobile in which he was riding failed to make a curve, hit a bridge railing, so that's a bridge that I found, and crashed into the Cahaba River at the River Bend Bridge. Okay, now we have the name of the bridge. River Bend Bridge. Let's see where that is. Well, River Bend Apartments. Come on. Okay, this is River Bend Marina. Right there. I don't know if it exists. Is there a place called River Bend, Alabama? Oh, maybe there is. Okay. So there's a little town called River Bend, and that's nowhere near. And this is the town. They said Centerville right there. So interesting. Anyways, the driver of the car escaped death by crawling through a window and swimming to safety. Highway, and don't go look it up, okay? Because I don't have time. I'm going to go through the highway patrolman Glenn Smitherman and Joe Smith said White 36 of Cottondale was the driver of the car. He said the automobile landed in the water about 20 feet deep after hitting a railing of the bridge and sailing through the air about 250 feet. Wow. The accident occurred at 6:13 p.m. And this is in March, so it's getting close to dark at that time. White said he picked up the hitchhiker several miles from the scene of the wreck. He said he crawled through the window of the car and swam to safety after it sank into the river. Johnny Goodwin of the River Bend community, so that is River Bend community, saw the wreckage of the bridge, stopped to clear it off so he could pass, and heard White calling for help. Goodwin called the Bibb County Sheriff's Office and State Highway Patrol. White was taken to Bibb County Hospital and then transferred to Druid City Hospital in Tuscaloosa, where he was admitted. His condition is described as not serious. 3 skin divers from Montgomery were called to search for the body of the hitchhiker. The skin divers were Lloyd Harris, Bill Warr, and Joe Hunter. The body was discovered in the back seat of the car and was recovered at 9:20 p.m. State toxicologist Robert Johnson was called in on the case to assist in the identification. Coroner Jack Lee said the hitchhiker received a broken neck and his left hand was broken in 2 places in the wreck. The hitchhiker appeared to be in his late teens. He had a billfold, but there was no identification, only a small photo of himself and a girl. And I bet you that's R and L. I bet you anything that R and L, or excuse me, Y. R and Y are, because now they're saying it was R and Y in love. He had a tattoo on his left arm with the words R, Y in love. But the other one said it had a plus symbol. But anyways, he also had a suitcase containing several articles of clothing. Participating in rescue operations were the Centerville Civil Air Patrol. Okay. As this paper went to press Wednesday morning, the youthful hitchhiker remains unidentified. His body is lying in state at Jack Lee Funeral Home, where he is being viewed by persons in hope of establishing his identity. A number of telephone calls have been received from different places over the country concerning this young man. Fingerprints and language marks in his clothing have been sent to the FBI laboratory. A nationwide description of the body has been sent out by the newswire services in hopes that someone might have some identification. A sketch of the youth is being prepared in Birmingham to be circulated should the written description fail to shed any light on his identification. Yes, everybody, and don't forget, we are trying to raise funds for the end of the month. Okay? You know, a cup of coffee, that's all you got to pretend. Just like K-Dog right there. Cheers. Alright, so that is it. A nationwide description of the body has been sent out by one of the newswire services. A sketch of the youth is being prepared in Birmingham. His face looked normal, so they actually have that picture you see on the thumbnail is actually his face. And I don't think it looks anything like the sketch that they produced. The sketch makes him look like a weird person. And the image that you see of him actually dead there, he looks kind of like a normal kid. He made it blonde with maybe some black tips on it, something like that. And this image right here is one where, at the scene, car being towed from the Cahaba River.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Cheers, mate. Hey, that was cool that it actually used a voice that would use that. Car being towed from Cahaba River, unidentified hitchhiker died in accident. So it sounds like there is a community here called, yes, I don't know. They said it was near this town, Centerville. But now you look up here and that community called River Bend is up here. And let's see. Let's just assume that that's the river there. I don't really see a lot of curves there. But that's an image from back in the day. Oh, look at it. It's a flannel shirt. Is that the flannel shirt guy? Everything's Delphi. Alright. This is from April 6th, though. So the accident was like March 27th. And now we're... As we went to press Wednesday morning, the Jack Lee Funeral Home announced plans for the funeral services Thursday afternoon at 2 o'clock for the unidentified... Hey, thanks, Layla, my Layla. Come here, Layla, my Layla. See, that's her dog. And then every time I say it, the dog, you know, jumps up, I'm sure. Who was killed at River Bend last Monday. So now it's saying it was killed at River Bend. So now I actually do think it was that town. I'm just going to try one last attempt over here. Hold on a sec. So this is the town area. You know, it's not really... But then it's saying River Bend Bridge. That's could be this one right here, I guess. You know, sharp turn and then flew off the... I'm going to move it.
Here's your cup of coffee and a bagel.
I'm going to move that over to there. Thank you. And a bagel. As a matter of fact, I would bet now that that's probably it. Since that's the right town. You got a curve here. This is heading into the town. So maybe that's what that bridge is called. Let's see if it has a name on it. Just for the hell of it. See what happens. And that looks kind of like... And see there's a curve right there. And you could see maybe somebody coming around that, not paying attention, and then flying off right there over the edge. What do you think? See? And that's River Bend. Now, it could, you know, it seems like a good guess anyways now. We understand that the state has entered the investigation of this case, and there is some possibility that the state may take charge of the body and place it in cold storage, but as of this time, plans for funeral services have been announced for Thursday afternoon at 2 o'clock. During the past week, a number of people have viewed the body of this young man. Some of these people coming from other states, and a large number of telephone calls have been received, but no one has been able to identify him. Isn't that crazy? Like he was just sitting there for days and days, and people kept showing up, viewing him. Apparently there was one person that stayed for a long time and then came back again, but they never were able to contact that person. They weren't... Somebody just noticed it. Thank you. Wow, that's like a case of beer. of imports.
A couple cups of coffee and some hostess ding-dongs. Smiley face.
Oh man, who doesn't like... Listen, let's be honest. Is there anybody out there that doesn't like ding-dongs? I mean, they're not even made out of anything natural whatsoever. There's nothing natural in a ding-dong. Or, for that matter, a Twinkie. There's literally nothing in them that was produced out in, you know, like it grew somewhere. Even the sugar's probably manufactured, right? But, you know, Twinkies and ding-dongs. My God, those are good. Jesus. I mean, I love ding-dongs, right? I haven't had a Twinkie in a long time, but I used to love those too. I didn't really like the snowballs, you know, the little snowball things. I wasn't a big fan of those. The pink things with the... Yeah. But, yeah, Lee D sent me a package from Australia. They got some good good candies over there. Good little biscuits, whatever you want to call them. Like the honey buns, huh? Yeah, I don't like the snowballs. Basically, it was just, for me, it was, every once in a while I'd have one of the Hostess fruit pies, you know, like apple or something. But I really just like the ding-dongs and Twinkies. Okay. Now, I know this is my moment of, when I think back. Let me turn down the heat on. I got a lot of. Now there it is. Too bright. I think that's better-ish. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so I probably told you before, but when we were kids, I was on a swim team. I was a good swimmer, like in the city, and we burned a shitload of calories. My mom never knew that we always felt hungry because she gave us a lot of food, but we were just burning so many calories. So they have those machines, those ones where you push the button. I've probably told this story before, but you push the button and it rotates, and then there's a new window that you can look. You've seen those, right? And you slide the window open after you buy it. You guys remember that? Yeah. Okay, so it used to be, before they figured this out. So this was when I was a little kid, I did a couple criminal acts. I didn't realize it then. I thought it was just kind of cool. But when I was 12 years old, after somebody else buys something, the door opens, right? It still stays open. But if you push the button and the door at the same time like this, the door would slide open and then it would rotate. And then you could clear out the whole freaking thing around. But if you didn't do it quite right, you'd screw up and you'd have to wait for somebody else to buy something. But you didn't have any food or anything. So you sat around and you had to press the button and the door at the same time. And the door would slide and then the thing would rotate. All right? I apologize. Whoever, the hostess people out there, whatever it was. I know, it was crazy. It worked. I don't even know. Here's what I don't understand. How did some kid figure that out? Because they taught me that. I didn't get a ton of them, maybe 4 or 5 things, but we would try it. Somebody else would do it. But I want to know who the kid was that sat there and went, hey, let me try this. That's right, everybody. Did you hear?
Did you hear that? Gray's a criminal. Oh!
Yeah, Jesus. Sounds like that same story from earlier. Yeah. That's right, I've redeemed myself. I'll take that one.
Hey, Gray.
Hey, that's my... Listen.
Email?
Listen.
Hey, Gray. Open your email.
For those of you who don't know, that's my email from work, and I have it yell at me when I get an email. It says, Gray, have you checked your email? Gray, open your email. Well, Mary Lou's already has bad habits, okay? And thank you, Jessica Schubach up there. See, because of Jessica Schubach, I don't have to I don't have to do the sliding door trick and the ding-dongs, okay? I don't have to push the button and slide the door. I can just go buy myself some ding-dongs, okay? So thank you, Jessica Schubach. I can buy an entire box of them. All right? Of course, you smack on 20 pounds after you eat the damn things, but... So thank you to Jessica Schubach. Stealing. There we go. That's to keep me from stealing ding-dongs. Okay, thank you. Oh yeah. It was so fun when you're a kid, all the stupid... We had fun riding a bike up a hill just to see if we could make it.
Stealing
wow.
ding-dongs.
That's fun. Man, think about it today, how bored a kid would be trying to get a 1-speed bicycle up a 45-degree hill. We would just go back and forth like this, winding around until we got to the top, and our legs were so freaking tired. But that's why we were so strong and able to swim and run really fast, because of stupid crap like that. Now, it's like, are you kidding me? I've got to go play some Call of Duty. You know, hold on a second. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It was crazy. Juju positive. But when you got to the top, all you did was just go, oh, God. Oh, it was so painful. I mean, who the hell would do that now? You know? Just for the hell of it, you know? I know. It was so fun just to be able to play outside, and there was no really worry about psychos. You know, now it's... You have to be tethered to your parent. I almost feel like there should be torture for child abductor killers. That way, that might actually be a deterrent for somebody. You know, the death penalty doesn't deter these idiots. You know, it's you almost need to do something where it's a week worth of torture. You know, some sort of a gauntlet of shit. You know, so that might get it back to where it used to be if they knew something like that was coming. Yeah. That's a movie, isn't it, Layla? I would do something more with some salt, you know, and wounds and things like that. Well, I mean, Darlene just took it to the whole nother level there, but... Hey, you accidentally hid Darlene. God. Hey, Darlene, Zozo hid you. I'm just letting you know. Even though she unhid you, she's the one who did it, Darlene. And she did it on purpose, too. And you know what's funny is she hid you because she didn't realize who typed it. She saw the wording. So basically, you got special treatment. You see what I'm saying? Yep. All right, so I'm going to get back to this now. I'm going to go get back to this. Darlene got special treatment. Coroner Jack Lee said residents of this Alabama community, this little town that we just mentioned called River Bend, raised money to pay for a grave marker. It will contain the boy's photograph in hopes that someday he will be identified. Investigators said the boy told persons with whom he had ridden that he was hitchhiking from the Carolinas to California to go into the service. Let's see. An unidentified young boy killed while hitchhiking in Alabama, March 27, was not a youngster who disappeared from his California home, March 21st. The nameless youth was killed in an automobile accident near Centerville. See, I'm not sure why they're saying that again. After he had been seen picked up by three motorists. When efforts to identify the victim failed, the people of Bibb County held an elaborate funeral for the boy. It's pretty cool. Engraved on the tombstone were the words, "Unknown, killed in an automobile accident, March 27, 1961. 1 week before the accident, Randall Cobb, 13, disappeared from his home in Daly City. His general description and age matched that of Alabama's unknown boy. The California boy's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Cobb, said their boy had braces on his teeth and a hernia scar. The chance that the Alabama victim may have been Randall was ruled out Thursday by Lieutenant Willie B. Painter of the Alabama Public Safety Department Investigative Branch. See, why didn't they put hopefully they put the picture in the Carolina newspapers. The literal picture of him dead, because it was a fresh picture. He looked just like him. It wasn't even gruesome looking at all. It was. He said the accident victim had perfect teeth and no hernia scar. All right, and this is April 25th. Mother believes Centerville auto victim may be son. Turned out it wasn't. Yeah, just a second. Now look at this really ludicrous drawing here. He looks almost like an alien. Okay? I mean, I know that they were trying here, but look at that thing. He looks a little bit like Shrek in the face, but obviously not quite. I don't understand what they were doing with this drawing here. It doesn't look anything like the sketch. So no wonder he wasn't identified. Look at, that's him right there, right? I mean, you can't see it great, but his face is nicely shaped. You know, I see the ear thing that you're going for, but you even have him kind of too small and rounded. He doesn't look like this at all, right? And here he looks like, you know, almost like James Dean or something. You know, he's got the hair back. It's, I don't know. I just think that that's not good. And I think that if that's what they put out at the time, there's no, you know, I can see why he wasn't identified. It'd be like, who's that? Whoa. The decedent was a hitchhiker who drowned after the vehicle was riding and collided with the bridge rail and plunged in the Cahaba River near River Bend. Additionally, he had broken his neck and his hand in 2 places. The boy told the driver that he had run away from home after his parents separated. That's a little different. He was faced with a choice of living in an orphanage or joining the Navy, despite the fact he was believed to be too young for the military. He stated he did not care where he was going. The clothing the boy carried with him indicated he may have been from the north. The cigarettes he carried were from South Carolina, so it does sound like he was from the Carolinas. There's really no reason to lie to somebody at that point. You know, back then, there's no internet, nothing. It's just, you can just tell anybody anything. His body was displayed for a few days at a funeral home where it was observed by travelers from across the country. An elderly, heavy-set, and gray-haired woman was noticed to have spent more time than others when viewing the body. She returned a second day in a row, but left before any information could be taken from her. The boy was later buried in the Centerville Cemetery several weeks after he died. So, you got that. Yeah, I mean, basically this is all just the same information. So, what do you think? Will this be something you guys we could take our first stab at? She did send me an email on this one. You know, I do have, like, I was going to donate another $2,000 at the end of the month. You know, if there's some way that we could direct that towards this, I don't know. She said if we could come up with, you know, maybe partially cover it. Okay, you guys are interested? And I still mentioned the other ones that we were interested in. This one, though, I think they've already have a DNA sample. That's the thing. So, or they have bones that they can extract DNA from. Yeah, no, to find him. What do you mean? No, he's dead. We know they know where he is. He's an unidentified person. Nobody knows who he is. So what what we would do would be to pay for, you know, maybe helping the extraction of DNA, and then obviously Colleen Fitzpatrick's group would identify his who he is. Wow, Robin Frost! Holy crap! Good eye, Robin Frost. Now that was more British, wasn't it? Ah, forget it. Woo! Thank you, Robin Frost.
Let's go for it.
Boom. All right. Well, I'll contact her tomorrow. You know, maybe we can have her come on. I don't know. I'll ask her if she can come on the show for a little bit. And we can, see if we want to, if we can do like put that 2,000 towards this, and then next month we can probably get back to, maybe what we'll do next month is, try to do like 1,000 or so to a regular charity, and then save some more up for another person. I think it'd be awesome. I'd love to make a difference like that. Yeah, well, I don't know, we aren't going to be able to. They're going to do genealogy, Layla. Yeah, so we're going to help pay for that. Because apparently, it wouldn't be that strange if he had some relatives. Let's say he was 18, that would be 1943. There's a lot of people, that'd be 80-something years old. He could definitely have some siblings out there. Or maybe even, I don't know, somebody. Okay, I'll contact her in the morning. I don't know, who knows? Maybe she's even watching. She lives in on the West Coast with me, so. That's right, Layla. I don't know. Well, because they have to extract the DNA and everything. I just would rather use Colleen. Yeah. And her people. They've been doing it for a long time. I mean, she has the resources to go get the DNA extracted and put in the right format and everything. I mean, I know there's a lot of genealogists out there that once you are uploaded to GEDmatch, they know how to do it. No, we've never covered this guy before. I don't remember ever talking about this guy. So I'm not really sure why you're saying that, but yeah. You may have heard about him somewhere else. Right, yeah. Well, he's one of the unidentified people out there. There's stories about him. Like, they literally... what's this one? I think this one was 2019. It sounds like Nick Mech actually... Or is it Namus? Is it this one? Hold on, let me get the... National... Yeah. Lawrence said Sheriff and Coroner's Office were recently contacted by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and we donate to them, and learned the agency was providing money to pay for the exhumation of the body to examine the remains. So apparently, I don't know what they did with that. I think they were going to try genealogy. See, there's the R plus Y in love, or R... Y in love. So that picture he has is probably... I think the R is his name and the Y is her name. A lot of options like Rob or Richard, Randy, and then Y, Yvonne, Yvette. It's like it's more likely. There's not a lot of guy names with Y in it to start. Right. Oh, it's a horrible sketch. That's one of the worst ones I've ever seen in my life. Why not just use the photograph of his face after they brought him to the coroner's office? He looked absolutely normal. He was found pretty quickly in cold water. He's got those little small Shrek ears they put in the drawing. It was ridiculous. Look at that. And then he's got this massive forehead. His face is all little. He looks like they made him look like a creature from if you were going to watch Lord of the Rings. You know, somebody in there somewhere. Because again, this is what he really looks like. And it's not the clearest picture, but if you just, you know, you can squint your eyes and you can see that he really doesn't look anything like that at all. He's got a normal, you know, thinner looking face. It's longer. His hair is taller on his head. His ears aren't that shape whatsoever. Yeah, there you go. Eddie Munster. That's a good one. I like that. So, all right. Well, I'll let her know. I think it'd be cool. Help out on one of these. You know, there's also the chance that even after we donate the money, it won't lead to anything. You know, that happened in the Sky Shoots. Yeah, I mean, if that, I don't know if that sketch is what circulated. I'd like to see the original sketch, but again, why didn't they just take a picture of his face and put it out in the newspapers all around? You know, they didn't have color photographs, obviously, but just take a really clear image, put a big picture of him in the newspaper in the Carolinas, Alabama, all those areas, and just see if anybody recognized it. It would have worked. And it actually may have worked in some way because that one lady was there one day and came back the next day. Why would she do that? Wouldn't that be interesting? And then she just realized, well, I don't have the money for a funeral, so, you know, this town will take care of it. What they should have done was put a camera at his grave, although that's way too early for that. But, you know, I guarantee it, if that was a family member, they came back from time to time to go visit that grave. Would have been great if they had trail cameras back in 1961. Okay. All right, you guys. Now I'm going to move on to the... I'm going to take just a minute break here, though, so hold on a second. Get you the cool rap music for a minute.
man, John Boy. I love this rap, man.
Yeah, well, it's not really rap, it's just music.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, we should rap to it, don't you think?
Well, if you want to, I guess.
Okay, I'm back. Wait, was that Mary Lou and John Boy talking while I was gone? That's crazy. Thanks, Zozo. All right. We are now going to discuss the other. This is another Ohio cold case here. That might be a long one. See how it goes. So this is about Mary Beth Grismore. That's her picture. That's actually the picture that's on the thumbnail. So there's a much better, kind of a recent, looking picture, even though this is from 1978. I mean, it's a very clear picture. She's very pretty. I think she was in beauty contests and whatnot. All right. A former Iowa beauty queen finalist is missing. But so far, this is back in February 28, 1978. But so far, state police have declined to speculate on her whereabouts. Mary Beth Grismore, 26, has not been seen since early last Wednesday and officially is listed as a missing person. State police said Mrs. Grismore, who once was a finalist in the Miss Iowa pageant and had been living in this Park County, I thought this was, hold on one second, let me check something. Maybe it was Iowa, this one, well no, because it was in the Ohio thing. What's interesting is it had a crossover with Indiana. So let me find. Yeah, there it is, Ohio right there. So. I think she's from Indiana, but was found in Ohio. Yeah, which makes sense. Is just an adjoining state. And Iowa's 2 states over. All right. State police said Miss Grismore, who was once a finalist in the Miss Iowa pageant, had been living in this Park County town. So when they say this, so it must be Marshall, Indiana. What's weird is in these really late articles, I think it's Burson, the guy that's still the communications guy for Indiana, said they're still looking at this one. Been living in Park County since her marriage to Robert Hale of Marshall. However, they were divorced recently, and Mrs. Grismore was married in Iowa February 10th to David Grismore. So she had just got divorced and then remarried. She returned to Indiana to collect her belongings and had planned to move to Iowa on Wednesday. Police said she had several girlfriends, spent Tuesday night together. Tuesday night together, and she was last seen early Wednesday after driving each of them home. According to police, she was not home when a moving van arrived to pick up her furniture Wednesday morning. Her purse was found in her home, but she and her car were gone. Friends told police she already had loaded some of her possessions in the car. Yeah, that's weird though. Why wouldn't you wait for the moving van? Marshall, Indiana. Let's load up where that is. Ah, crap. Well, Google Earth just shut down, so let's see what happened. Oh, there it goes. Oh my God, Zap's Retrod is from Iowa. She must have known the case and everything. $1978. Yeah. Alright, so we're looking at that. The town was called Marshall, Indiana. Okay, so this is where she lived. Really small little town here. So she was going to move from there to Iowa. I wonder if she was going to move to Iowa, lived in Indiana, but her body was found in Ohio. That's what I'm guessing. Pixie was very apprehensive of this area. At the time, right now, when I'm discussing this, she's just missing. Pixie was very apprehensive of this area with all the violence and that Hollinsburg thing. Bob Hillner, her father, said Thursday. He was referring to the massacre of 4 youths February 14th, 1977 at their home at nearby Hollinsburg. She just isn't the type to do something irresponsible like running away. This is her father. Fears that his 26-year-old daughter, a runner-up in a Miss Iowa beauty pageant, was abducted early the morning of February 22nd. She was to leave Indiana that day to start a new life with her second husband of less than 2 weeks in Iowa. Her first husband lives here. Huh. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Kind of makes you suspect the first husband or something a little bit. State Police Detective Sergeant Lloyd W. Heck said Thursday there is still no evidence to show Pixie, that's her nickname, the childhood nickname she is known by, has met with foul play. But Heck does admit that the details surrounding the disappearance are mysterious and a cause of concern. Miss Grismore spent February 21st packing for the automobile trip to Iowa. She had remarried February 10th in Iowa, her home state, and returned to Marshall with her husband's car to pick up her belongings and arrange to move furniture to her new home. So she left Iowa, where her current husband with the last name of Grismore lives. Then she drove back to Marshall, Indiana to pick up furniture and whatnot. After packing the auto, she and 2 girlfriends drove to nearby Terre Haute. All right, so let's put that in there. That's where Larry Bird's from. Yeah, so it's not really that far away. Oh, was it French Lick? I can't remember exactly where he was from. I know both names are associated with him somehow. Okay, so she drove from here to Terre Haute to go party with some friends. Miss Grismore dropped off her friends at Rockville and Marshall before driving to her farm home at about 1:20 a.m. So she didn't really live in Marshall. She lived like a little outside of it in a farm home. So Mrs. Grismore dropped off her friends at Rockville. Let's see where that is. No, I was going to say it was probably in between. So there you go. Rockville. So she drove from around this area, picked up her buddies, drove to Terre Haute. They all partied, then dropped off one friend here in Rockville, and then another one back in Marshall. And then she lived sort of out of town, you know, out in the country on a farm somewhere. She, driving her to her farm home at about 1:20. So Miss Grismore dropped off her friends at Rockville and Marshall. So there might have been more than just 2 people, but that she dropped off. Her children, John, 3, and Michael, 2, so she had kids, had been left with their ex-husband, Robert Hale. So she was alone in the large 2-story house. Oh boy. And who would have known that? Robert Hale. Pixie has not been seen or heard from since. The car, a 1973 dark blue vinyl over silver metallic blue Thunderbird with Iowa license plate 93GYD485, disappeared along with her. Left behind was her purse containing identification, so she had no identification with her, and $42 in traveling money to get her to Iowa, and the clothes she was wearing the night before. Wow. She never made a long-distance telephone call to David Grismore, her new husband, in Iowa. Yeah, so something happened to her while she was in that home, whom she promised to call after she returned to Marshall with her girlfriends. One of those friends telephoned Mrs. Grismore at about 8 a.m. February 22nd. Later that morning, it was determined she was missing. There were no signs of a scuffle in the home, and as yet, no evidence of forced entry, according to Sergeant Heck. But the house was in disarray from packing, making it difficult to tell what damage might have been caused by a scuffle, Heck said. Police have issued a nationwide missing persons report in their research in the last week. Volunteers have searched abandoned barns in the area for the car. Park County has been viewed by air from airplanes and Marion County police helicopters as part of the vehicle hunt. Sergeant Heck said he has contacted motels in adjoining counties and checked airports at Indianapolis, Terre Haute, and Crawfordsville in hopes of finding someone who may have noticed the missing woman. Mr. and Mrs. Hellier, and David Grismore arrived from their Corydon, Iowa home last week and have been contacting her friends and neighbors. Bob Hillier described his daughter as a very social girl who has been active in community activities since before she was runner-up in Miss Iowa pageant in 1969. She had been a singer, dancer, and a performer with the Park Players, a local amateur theater group. Miss Grismore also participated in a singing quartet and painted in her spare time. Wow, pretty talented. Active in the Democratic Party, she had been county coordinator for U.S. Senator Birch E. So this guy's name comes up later. It's weird. So she was the county coordinator for U.S. Senator Birch E. Bay. He was a Democrat in Indiana. She met her She met her first husband, Robert Hale, while working in Kansas City, Missouri, and moved with him. It's weird. My mouth's so dry that I'm having a hard time pronouncing shit. Hold on a second. There we go. Yeah, so she moved with him to Park County about 7 years ago. The couple agreed to a divorce on friendly terms last October, according to Hillier, who said Hale is as worried about this as we are. He has been around every day concerned about this. So maybe the ex, if it sounds like it was, everybody was calm about it and everything, good terms, maybe he has nothing to do with it. The Hilliers appealed to Hoosier residents to be on the lookout for their daughter. Mrs. Grismore is 5 foot 8 inches tall, weighs 137 pounds, and has reddish blonde, medium short curly hair and brown eyes. Packed in the car the day she was to leave to Indiana was a unique regulator wall clock and many household items, including kitchen utensils and china. 2 50-pound bags of turkey grit, her new husband raises turkeys, were in the trunk of the car. One of the few items of evidence police have in the case are specks of dust now under laboratory analysis, which were found on the bed she was to have slept in the night she disappeared. A baffling aspect of the case is the fact that Miss Grismore's friends have been unable to determine if any of her clothes are missing. One friend, who asked that her name not be used because she is scared by the disappearance, said Pixie was in good spirits and anxious to get going to Iowa the night before she vanished. When we went to the movie, we wanted to see something lighthearted to make us laugh, but she wanted to go to Looking for Mr. Goodbar. It was a bad thing to see, especially considering this has happened. The movie is a serious film in which the female lead character is murdered. Wow, that must have been a trip to watch that and then have that happening to you. In nearby Rockville, residents are crossing their fingers in hopes Mrs. Grismore will emerge unharmed. Park County already has endured the pain of 2 multiple murders. Pixie voiced the opinion to us that strange things happen in this county. Hillier recalled grimly enough strange things, so she was worried about it. Search on for women. So, they're still looking for her. And then we get to May. So that was March 3rd, these articles. So this is when she was missing. Then May 4th, 2 months later, body found in Whitehall. And this is Ohio, so that's why it's listed on the Ohio website. Let's go to a team of Indiana State Police investigators was dispatched here. So when they say here, it must be Whitehall, Ohio. I imagine it's just over the border. I'm just going to guess. So it's going to be like right over here, I bet. I bet you it's going to be right over here. What do you guys think? Somewhere right along that border. Whitehall, Ohio. No. All the way into Columbus, huh? That's wild. That's so far away. Man, that's like, how many miles is that? 250 miles away. That's really strange. Whitehall, Ohio. You guys interested in this still? I can see the jokes starting up. A team of Indiana State Police investigators was dispatched here Wednesday to determine if a body found in the trunk of a car is that of Mary Beth Grismore, a former beauty contestant who has been missing since February 22nd. Lieutenant Richard Jones said the car found in a Holiday Inn parking lot. So let's see if there's a Holiday Inn near here. Probably called something else now, though. Holiday Inn near Holiday Inn Express. Yeah, I guess it could be one of these. There's two of them right here, right near there. Hard to say, hard to say. But somewhere around in there. The 26-year-old woman disappeared the morning of February 22nd after returning to her Marshall, Indiana home to pack for a move to Iowa. And the car they found did belong to her. It belonged to Miss Grismore. Thanks, Zozo. Yeah, Holiday Inns are around a long time, but they sometimes get bought out and they're called something else. All right, here we go. So now she's in the back of her trunk. They found her in the back of a trunk, and she was in there for 2 months. Man. An autopsy has shown that Mary Beth Grismore, a missing former Iowa beauty contestant, died of strangulation by a rope around the neck. Positive identification of the woman was made Thursday. Whitehall Detective Sergeant Charles Snyder said the body was identified by comparing dental charts. He said a pair of earrings found on the victim were known to belong to Mrs. Grismore. And it's a little bit cold outside, so she may have been less decomposed than a body normally would have been. I mean, we're talking about, some of those months were, March. So, but I mean, 2 months, you're going to be pretty decomposed at that point. The body was found in this Columbus suburb Wednesday in the trunk of her car. Miss Grismore, 26. So 26 and 78, so 9 years before that. So when she was 17 is when she was in the beauty contest. Ish, 17 or 18. The day Miss Grismore, 26, was reported missing February 22nd, the day she was to leave her home. So she was almost 7 weeks missing in Marshall, Indiana, to join David Grismore, the childhood friend she had married on February 10th. So now we know that they were childhood friends. Okay. Mrs. Grismore was runner-up in the 1969 Miss Iowa beauty pageant. Whitehall police found the body after the manager of a motel asked them to move a car apparently abandoned in the motel parking lot about 2 months ago. License plates had been removed. After noticing an odor, police broke into the locked trunk and found the body. So was she found? Let me go back to that one from the day before. I'm wondering if they found her 2 months ago. To determine if a body found in the trunk of a car. So she might have been found. It sounded like the way they worded that she was actually found 2 months ago. But they just didn't know how, know how to identify her. Let's see. Whitehall police found the body after the manager of a motel asked them to move a car apparently abandoned in the motel parking lot about 2 months ago. And that's MUNTS. But I don't know if that means that that's when they had it moved or just after 2 months he finally said, would you guys move this? License plates had been removed. That's interesting. That means the person didn't want anything to be determined about, where the car was from or anything. After noticing an odor, police broke into the locked trunk and found the body, Snyder said. The car had been reported stolen in Rockport, Indiana. Franklin County Coroner William Adrian said that a clothesline-type rope was knotted around the woman's throat. Adrian planned to take x-rays to determine if the woman had been shot. He said the body was decomposed. The body was clad in blue jeans with her which were unzipped, and a pullover sweater which was pushed up around the neck. Huh, that's interesting because that sounds now like she was sexually assaulted. The head was wrapped in a towel, and a body was covered with a blanket and an old raincoat, said Whitehall Police Chief Paul Jackson. Hey, thank you, Brianna. Props. Okay. An autopsy was ordered to determine the time and cause of death of a woman whose badly decomposed body was found in the, I think it meant to say, trunk of a car parked at a Holiday Inn in suburban Whitehall this weekend. Yeah, so actually I think it is going to be one of those Holiday Inn near, I think it's going to be one of these two right over here. There's three, so it's one of these three right here. I mean, how about we'll just pick this one, The body was identified through dental records. Police were called by the manager of the motel who asked them to move the car. Detective Sergeant Charles Snyder said police broke into the trunk. The body was clad in blue jeans with her which were unzipped, and a pullover sweater which was pushed up around her neck. The head was wrapped in a towel, and the body was covered with a blanket and an old raincoat. Police said Miss Grismore was last seen alive by two girlfriends, so it was just two, who attended a going-away party with her in Terre Haute, about 30 miles from Marshall on February 21st. Miss Grismore returned the friends to their homes at 1:30 a.m. February 22nd, and after that had planned to move her belongings from the rural farmhouse where she lived to join Grismore. 2 bags of poultry feed were found in the trunk of her car at the Holiday Inn. She was taking the feed to her husband, who is a poultry farmer. Missing from the car were Mrs. Grismore's best china, silverware, antiques, paintings, and other personal possessions, police said. And let's see. Autopsy scheduled in death. An autopsy has been scheduled to determine the cause of death of Mary Beth Grismore. Well, it sounds like they already know, right? Sergeant Charles Snyder, detective with Whitehall Police, said the body was identified by comparing dental records. The body was found in the Columbus suburb. found the body after the manager. Okay, that's pretty much duplicate information, but that was a day after those last articles. They have no suspects. Fingerprints found in the car and sent to the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Identification for study are not the only things we've got in the way of major clues. The decomposed body of Mary Beth Grismore of Marshall, Indiana was found Wednesday in a car which had been parked on a local motel's parking lot. Miss Grismore, 26, disappeared February 22nd, the day she was to leave to Marshall. Investigators have studied the motel's guest register since the first of the year, but have failed to turn up any clues as to how the car got there. A motel official called police Wednesday to tow away the car, so she'd been in that car that whole time. Jackson said the condition of the body indicated that at one time it had been frozen. Yeah, well, she went missing in February. He said it would appear unlikely that the woman had been killed at the motel, since it would be difficult for the killer to have put the body in the car trunk without having been seen. And, this is in Ohio. It's very cold over there. I mean, I hope it's that, not that she was put in some freezer somewhere. FBI joins search for Mary Grismore's killer. The FBI has joined state authorities in the search for the killer of Mary Beth Grismore, whose decomposed body was found last week in Columbus, Ohio. Federal agents joined the case because Mrs. Grismore apparently was kidnapped and taken across state line. Miss Grismore, 26, vanished February 22nd from her home. Heck said state and federal officials would concentrate on interviewing friends and acquaintances of the woman, who formerly sold advertising in Crawfordsville and worked at Turkey Run State Park as a lifeguard and and gate attendant. Heck said police thus far have placed no significance on a series of prank telephone calls received by Mrs. Grismore prior to her disappearance. He said the caller or callers did not speak when she answered the phone. Huh, isn't that weird? We had a few cases like that before with these damn prank phone calls. And a few days later, fingerprints found in an automobile which contained the body of an Indiana woman are the only things we've got. The decomposed body of Mary Beth Grismore of Marshall, Indiana was found Wednesday. The fingerprints were sent to the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation. Now they're saying runner-up in 1968, but Jackson said the condition of the body indicated that at one time it had been frozen. He said it would appear unlikely that the woman had been killed at the motel. Yeah. All right, so now we're moving 2 months forward into July now. This is just part of another article, but it did mention Mary Beth Pixie Grismore, 26, a former beauty contest participant in Iowa, vanished February 22nd. Her decomposed body was found May 3rd in the trunk of a car parked in a suburb of Columbus, Ohio. She had been strangled with a piece of rope still tied around her neck. And then, a year after she went missing, there's this article. So usually these have a little bit extra in them. State police investigators are still where they were a year ago, looking for the person or persons who killed a Marshall woman after abducting her from her home. Since the murder, February 22nd, 1978, of Mary Beth Pixie Grismore, police have yet to come up with a solid lead or suspect. Miss Grismore, who had been married 10 days before she disappeared, had been to Terre Haute with 2 girlfriends the night before she vanished. She returned home after dining out, watching a movie, and visiting a nightclub, and was to be awakened the next morning by one of the friends. When the friend called the next morning, there was no answer. Miss Grismore's husband, Donald, also tried to telephone her the same morning. She was to have left that morning to join him on his farm near Corydon, Iowa. After he talked to the girlfriend, she went to Mrs. Grismore Marshall's home and found it empty. So he actually called the friend that was supposed to call her. And then she went there and found it empty. Meanwhile, the small community in northeastern Park County buzzed with possibilities of what could have happened. Leads were scarce, but investigators continued to search for Mrs. Grismore in Park County. Police interviewed friends, relatives, members of the family of her first husband, but learned nothing. A month after Miss Grismore disappeared, an Illinois psychic became involved in the case. After visiting the home and surrounding areas, the psychic told of a man hiding in a closet, waiting for Mrs. Grismore to come home. She also told of Mrs. Grismore being shot twice in the head by the intruder. She said Mrs. Grismore's body might be found in the area around Turkey Run State Park. Police scoured the area for 3 days but found nothing. As time passed, State Police Detective Sergeant Lloyd Heck became increasingly convinced that Miss Grismore met with foul play. The first break in the case came on May 3rd when police found Mrs. Grismore's 1973 Ford Thunderbird in a motel parking lot at Whitehall, Ohio, an unincorporated suburb of Columbus. The car was taken to Columbus Police Headquarters and the trunk lock was forced, and then inside officers found the badly decomposed body of the missing woman. The Franklin County, Ohio coroner, say Ohio coroner fast, like 3 times, was strangled to death. Her body was identified through medical and dental records. So she was strangled to death. There was no gunshot wounds to the head. What police felt was at least a kidnapping case had suddenly and violently became a murder investigation. The discovery of the body was the last real activity in the case. The file is active, and we check on every lead we get, Detective Jerry Stadler said. But there is nothing new to report on the killing of Pixie Grismore. All right, so then 4 years after that one, a 4 years and a murder still a mystery. The file is active, and we check on leads we receive. Miss Grismore, a former Miss Iowa beauty pageant runner-up, 1978 now they're saying. Her badly decomposed body was found in the trunk of her 1973 Thunderbird. We have so little to go on. Unless someone makes a deathbed confession or a good lead develops, I suspect the Grismore murder will join the list of unsolved murders. Friends of the 5'8", 137-pound, 26-year-old said she had everything to live for. She sang, acted, danced, played piano, and organized a barbershop quartet. I love barbershop quartets, by the way. The night before she was reported missing, she and 2 girlfriends met for dinner in Terre Haute and went dancing at Beau Disco, a Terre Haute night spot. Before going dancing, they watched a movie. The feature was Looking for Mr. Goodbar. She was a cheerful and full of life, a friend, one of the last to see Pixie alive, recalls. At the motel parking lot where the body was found, police said Mrs. Grismore's car contained nothing of value. Friends say it had been packed with china, antiques, and clothing. They are still missing. Her belongings, purse, and the clothes she was last seen wearing were found at her home. So I wonder why, was she made to change clothes, or... It's weird. It's almost could be that she even slept at night and was taken in the morning when she was just getting up and getting dressed, right? I mean, I think that's possible, because why was she wearing a different set of clothes? It's not like she would have got home at 1:30 in the morning and put pants back on, right? Do you guys agree with that? So it could be that it was like 6 in the morning. She was getting up, getting ready. You know, her friend would have called, and she would have called her husband. But somebody came in and abducted her. Miss Grismore had planned on rejoining her husband David in Iowa on the day she was reported missing. Before her marriage to Grismore, she'd been married to Robert Hale. Fingerprints on the rear view mirror of Miss Grismore's car. See, that's interesting because, you know, somebody would have had to. She's 5'8", though, so, you know, 5'8". A lot of guys are, you know, in that ballpark and wouldn't really have to adjust the mirror that much. The Federal Bureau of Investigation entered the case when it was learned the victim crossed a state line. All right, so that was 1983, and then there's this interesting article from 1998. Okay, and I saw this on a Reddit post, and you know, it's interesting because it was published November 5th, 1998. All right. 2 years ago, on a windy city evening in the month of August 1996, Indiana's then governor, look at that name, Yvonne Bayh, that's the name that was in one of those articles. I think it was, let's see if it was this one. No. I think maybe this one. Right here. Yeah. Active in the Democratic Party, she has been county coordinator for U.S. Senate buc-ee Bayh. So let's just keep that on the side here. Okay. So this might, I don't know who this is. Is this a son, perhaps? Indiana, then Governor Yvonne. So this is 1996. So 2 years ago, on a windy city evening in the month of August 1996, Indiana's then Governor Yvonne Bayh appeared before delegates gathered in Chicago at the Democratic National Convention to deliver the keynote speech that would finalize the nomination and re-election of Bill Clinton. It was a high point in Bayh's political career and a stepping stone, perhaps, to greater things, and it was surely an event in his life which would have brought special pride to his mother had she lived to her son's special evening. Her father, former Senator Birch Bayh, that's who was mentioned in that article, had survived to share that moment in history with his son, and he must have carried enough parents' real pride to make up for his late wife's absence. Yvonne Bayh was elected yesterday to the U.S. Senate. He has been talked about as a possible vice presidential candidate for Al Gore in 2000, and since the kind of scandal that has plagued the White House in recent years has never touched the Bayh family, it might make a logical choice. But perhaps not if the people this is going to be, I haven't read this yet, so I'm curious to see what they're doing. Are you guys still into this? I see a lot of comments unrelated, like Darlene's Bell Fountain. We're not talking about that at all. Okay. Mary Beth Grismore was strangled and found in her car trunk in Ohio, May 3rd, 1978. Most of the people who knew Mary Beth while she was still alive called her Pixie. Born and raised in Iowa, Pixie was talented and beautiful, once a runner-up in the Miss Iowa contest, and a gifted musician. She left her hometown to find employment, married a co-worker, and moved to her husband's Indiana home. She brought life to a pair of sons, tried to fit into rural setting of her new life, grew older and wiser, and finally divorced her Hoosier husband. She fell in love again, and just after Christmas in 1977, she remarried to an Iowa farmer who lived just a few miles from her old hometown. For a too short while, she was happy again. By February 1978, she was packing her belongings and memories for the move from her Indiana residence to her new home in Iowa and began to say her farewells to the friends and neighbors she'd known and lived among for a decade. On February 21st, 1978, she drove her new husband's Ford Thunderbird from her home near Marshall, Indiana, to the nearby city of Terre Haute for a going-away party with her two friends. Nothing fancy, just a meal at the local lobster joint, probably Red Lobster, a movie, and a few hours dancing at some Terre Haute nightclub spots. The trio returned to Marshall just a little before 1:30 a.m., and that was the last time that anyone will admit that Pixie Grismore was ever seen alive. Later that day, her friends came by to help her finish packing for the move to Iowa, but found that she wasn't at the rural farmhouse. Neither was the car, though the clothes that she had worn the previous night and her purse were. Her worried family notified the local sheriff department, and the search for Pixie began. It ended in Whitehall, Ohio, near the Columbus, Ohio airport on May 3rd, 1978. Let's see if we have that anywhere. Where's the airport? Is that the airport? Well, that's kind of close. Right? I think there was another one right up here, though. I don't know if that's an airport or not. I mean, it does look like one. It says runway. Where are the planes? Oh, there they are. Okay. So here we go. We've got planes. That's the airport. So it could be that one. It's pretty close. Okay. Later that day, her friends came by to help her finish packing for the move to Iowa, but found that she wasn't at the rural farmhouse. Neither was the car, though the clothes that she had worn the previous night and her purse were. Her worried family notified the local sheriff's department, and the search for Pixie began. It ended in Whitehall, Ohio, near the Columbus, Ohio airport on May 3rd, 1978, when the Whitehall police opened the trunk of a Ford Thunderbird with no license plates that had been left in the parking lot of a local Holiday Inn near the airport that serves Columbus. For almost 2 months, the car sat there until finally suspicious police opened the trunk. They found a murdered body with a rope around its neck, but 10 weeks of decay and decomposition had so ruined the remains of the former beauty pageant contestant that investigators could not initially even determine if the remains were male or female. Dental records were consulted, and they proved that the body in the car was that of Pixie Grismore. Investigators were eventually led to question Pixie's survivor Pixie's survivor at Indiana's Turkey Run State Park. Supervisor, excuse me. I was like, what the hell? Where she had worked as a lifeguard in the summer of 1977. So they checked with her supervisor at that place where she was a lifeguard. On June 16th, they interviewed him again in Indianapolis, and this time they read him his rights. Under questioning, he admitted to evasion and falsehood in his first meeting with the FBI. And this time he told them a new story. Well, why the hell would you need to be... God. Patrick Ralston admitted that he began a romantic affair with the pretty lifeguard in July of 1977. So that's when she was married to the other guy. His wife had just given birth Or maybe she was already divorced from him. I can't remember the timing of that. Just a second. I think it said it up here. Drifted farther apart, and by November of 1977, she filed for divorce. So yes, she was having an affair in that story we were just looking at. And then she got married. So in between, like while she was married to him, she had that affair. Then she got divorced and then married the new husband. Okay, Patrick Ralston. This is the boss at the lifeguard place where she worked. That he began a romantic affair with the pretty lifeguard in July of 1977 while she was married. His wife had just given birth to their baby on June 2nd and then underwent surgery in early July, and she had been recovering while staying with her family in Terre Haute. His home was so empty and he was so alone, and he began to spend more time supervising things around the swimming pool where the cute young lifeguard worked. Ralston explained to the investigators that he and his wife drifted apart, farther apart. Oh, wait, this is a different person. Never mind. So let's. I don't remember when she got divorced from her first husband, but this is a minute ago when I thought it was November. This is actually the lifeguard guy. Ralston explained to the investigators that he and his wife drifted farther apart, and by November of 1977, he filed for divorce. So it sounds like he got a divorce just before she ended up marrying this other guy in December, right? On January 15th, 1978, Ralston was seriously injured when a frozen water heater exploded at the park. He spent 7 days in a Terre Haute hospital and another week recuperating at home. By mid-February, he was feeling better, but things had changed. His relationship with his wife had improved, and Pixie surprised almost everyone who thought they knew surprised almost everyone who thought they knew her by marrying a farmer. But the area in Iowa she had once called her home. So in the area where she called home before. Man, I got to get something that my eyes get so dry, you know? I'm trying to figure out. It's got to be something you can put in your eyes, some kind of a drop. Let's see. Up to that point, nothing that Pat Ralston had told the FBI particularly removed him from consideration as a suspect, but then he played his ace. While he and Pixie were in the bar, Ralston told the FBI she told him that she had done something the day before, February 15th, that she had always wanted to do. Pixie told Ralston that P.A. Mack, Indiana Senator Birch Bay, Chief of Staff, had arranged for her to meet with the senator at the bar of an Indianapolis motel. And that she partied with the senator and his entourage for a while, and that she had then gone to the senator's hotel room with him, and that she had slept with him while she was married? Jesus. Pixie said that she had left Bay's hotel room early on the morning of the 16th, so she went missing on the 22nd, just literally a week later. 16th, Ralston told the FBI agents. So the feds checked it out. Now listen to this. A registration card for the night of February 15th, 1978 indicated that B.E. Bay of 2919 Garfield Street, Northwest Washington, D.C., had indeed stayed in room 579 of the Indianapolis Airport Holiday Inn while he was representing USS, that is the United States Senate. The room cost $24. So that actually kind of gives some credibility to what that guy was saying. By dragging the senator into the investigation, Ralston virtually guaranteed the end of FBI consideration of his past relationship with the murdered woman. If Ralston had ever been charged with the crime, he would only have had to point out that Senator Bay's brief but intimate relationship with Pixie was at least as strong a motive for murder as Ralston's own affair with the dead victim. Since Pixie had been a county coordinator for Senator Bay, so she actually worked for the guy, and had been seen in public with him, any such revelation could have left the senator's political future as dead as Pixie Grismore. This just doesn't this sound like a lot of the stuff that was going on with Clinton, And look at that. And then the son, I guess. I mean, this is crazy, man. Jesus. It's been said that the only things that can destroy an Indiana politician are to be found in bed with a live boy or a dead girl. When Pixie's body was found, Bay was in a political fight to place officials loyal to him in certain key state positions. Though Bay's own office seemed secure, consolidation of power was a necessary step if Bay was to reach on for higher glories, and he had been considered as a presidential candidate before. This is written by, it just says WND staff. But if any story about an illicit affair with a married woman who was murdered a week later had awakened the public's attention, Bay's political future could have ended in a heartbeat. Hoosier humor about his cheating heart and other parts would have been bad enough, but at the time of the senator's alleged tryst with Pixie Grismore, Bay's own wife, Marvella, was dying of cancer. Reports that Senator Bay had cheated on his dying wife could have reasonably been expected to have results similar to those that befell Ohio Representative Wayne Hayes 2 years earlier. Hayes suffered the loss of all the political currency that he had gained for his state in his 28 years as a U.S. representative. I can't remember who was the guy that ran for president and he cheated on his wife who, was having an affair and she was sick, dying of cancer. Just a total idiot. Edwards. Yeah, John, something Edwards. I can't remember his first name, but sounds kind of like that guy. Absolutely destroyed him. Yeah, I said Edwards. Kate. Yeah. And here we go. Here comes Zozo. So type in Edwards. Yeah, I think it was Jonathan Edwards. Since there's no statute of limitations for the crime of murder, the investigation of Pixie's homicide is still officially open, even though then-Senator Bay headed the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence and was in charge of the Oversight Committee that supposedly supervises the CIA, NSA, and, the FBI. The secret's been kept all these years, and the Bay political dynasty continues. Birch's son, Evan, who was until recently Indiana's governor, and thereby the boss of an Indiana State Police agency still investigating Pixie Grismore's murder, has been suggested as a future Democratic presidential contender, just like his dad once was. And Evan gets to hobnob with President Clinton, who needs some good advice on how to handle embarrassing reports about affairs. Yeah. I don't know. That sounds like a pretty good possibility there, doesn't it? That he, she wanted to hang out with that senator just one time, I guess, to see what it was like, I guess. I don't know what the hell she was doing. And she was killed by somebody to keep that secret. But why, though? I mean, didn't she have motivation to keep it secret as well? Because she was just married, and then she was going to be moving. So wasn't it sort of... It seems like it was just kind of a rendezvous that was never going to happen again. And they both had lives that they were going to continue on with. So I don't know why that needed to be done. That's just crazy. Jesus. Scary. It's scary out there sometimes, Like I said, they'll do whatever it takes on the left, right? Yeah, Democratic Party, boy, they'll just take you right out. Look at Bill Clinton. You should go check out the... it's like a documentary on YouTube called The Clinton Chronicles. It's unreal. I mean, how does one group of people know so many people that died under suspicious circumstances? Right? Like, I don't even know any, really. But you have like 30 people that all died, just around you that knew things. It's crazy. So, well, that's it, you guys. That was the two different stories. I'm glad you guys you're interested in the helping to cover the costs of the DNA genealogy for the initial unidentified hitchhiker case from 1961. I think that'd be awesome. Yeah, there's nobody in there named Bear, so. Yeah, isn't it weird, all these cases out there? I mean, there's literally 10,000 of these. I mean, I've never heard of this one. I'm sure somebody's talked about it out there, but it's crazy. Absolutely nuts. Okay. So what are your thoughts on this? There isn't a next one. I'm done. I covered all the stuff I was going to cover today. Yeah, that is similar to the Chandra Levy, isn't it? Thanks, Kevin Brown. Thank you, Elaine Tolling from the UK. That name sounds like... do you actually live in, like, England? Yeah, everybody. And comment after the show. It seems like it's been helping me. Put a comment on what you thought, and I'd appreciate it. Okay. So that is it, everybody. Make sure that you guys wash your hands, maintain your social distancing, and take that vaccine whenever possible, unless you're, paranoid about it. Don't do it. But yes, get that vaccine. My wife had it, and she said her arm's just kind of a little bit sore, like when she gets the flu shot. So she has to report in on what she's feeling the next 48 hours, and so far that's it. Just a little sore shoulder. Pretty cool, huh? All right, so yeah, maintain your social distancing, wear a mask, wash your hands, and we'll get through this damn pandemic ASAP. All right. I told her to tell her boss that they should make it available for spouses, too, right? Thank you, Rebecca N. and Linda Howell, as in Linda Moldenhau of the Cattle Mutilation.
Thanks, Gray. Love you and all the freaks.
Who doesn't love Linda Howell, okay? As in Linda Moldenhau of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. Rebecca N. Okay. So that is it, everybody. And we'll be back on tomorrow. Whatever, I don't know what stories I'll be covering. I usually kind of spend a large portion of the day putting something together when I'm not busy doing work. Yep. Okay, everybody. Thank you very much. And, as I always say, be safe out there. And a 2, and a 3, and a... Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya, wanna sketch ya, if you try and play me like an old projector.
Crime sector.
Is my nectar.
Professor Grayo's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a protector.
Fool deflector. Interceptor. Phenomenal inspector with a vector.
On his pector.
Were you
with
crying
a
when you said that?
Just remember I've a temper.
Hey, shut up. I'm trying to listen to the
I
rap.
have no agenda.
Gosh,
I'm
you're
no
so mean.
pretender. And I'll serve it to you straight without the blender.
And in the end,
I'm gonna send you on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for showing up tonight. It was really great.
Yeah, it was cool. It was interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Well, no, you said it was really great. I said it was interesting.
Oh, Jesus. Good night, Sean boy.
Good night, Mary Lou.
They didn't sound like they really meant good night, did they? They sounded like they were a little bit angry, if you ask me.
Hey, you talking to me? Hey, Gray, you forgot to do the super chat thing.
Oh, that's right. Holy shit. Thank you.
Thank you, too. K-Dog. Layla my Lola. Jessica Shoeback. K-Dog. Robin Frost with the double cat eye donation. Zozo. Zozo again. Brianna Probst. Elaine Tolling. Linda Howell, as in Linda Molden Howe of the cattle mutilation. And crop circles. Rebecca N.
Hey, thanks, Gray. Everybody likes that part.
Yeah, great, don't forget to do that part.
Well, shit, I wasn't trying to. Jesus, leave me the hell alone, you guys.
Gosh, Gray, we're just trying to help.
Yeah, Gray, good.
Well, I do slur sometimes. That's for sure. Be safe out there.